Hey guys, welcome back. Today, it's unusually cooler for April, especially after having nearly 92 to 96 degrees out for the week. Today, I guess it's closer, the high's going to be 74 today and low of 51. And April in Florida is kind of weird. And now the dog has decided to get up. Come here. Come here. I was debating on putting on makeup and that whole production, but I decided, no, this is just a vlog. It's, you can see me as I am, and in most cases, without makeup, I look like death warmed over because I'm so fair, and natural light was going to wash me out. But you get what you get. And there's so many other polished videos on YouTube, and people cut and jump cut and all kinds of stuff. So if you want to see any of those, well, there's plenty of those. But I will come as I am. This is Dobby. We rescued him and Luna back in October. He is positively vibrating right now for some reason. I don't know if he sees something outside and scares him or whatnot. I'm trying to pet him to ensure that he may not be as excitable. With that, I really thank you for all that you guys do, and that you guys continue to watch these videos and support me in this endeavor. And I just try to keep people in the loop because I know I don't always get a chance to talk to people, and it's part of the reason why I make these vlogs, because again, I don't get to always talk to people, and it gives a way to people to kind of catch up when they have time, and we don't always have time to talk to each other about it. With that, past this week, I found, a page on Facebook called Death Salon posted about it. It was a new technology that creates a chatbot of your deceased loved one, or at least it's in its infancy. It's very rudimentary. And I guess it's the person that was deceased that they use. They use a lot of their online texts, their posts, their things like that to kind of create their personality. And some of the person's friends were even fooled and not realizing that they were talking to a chatbot. I can't really say what this would be for grief. People have the freedom to grieve as they seem fit. Pursue closure as they seem fit. Being that the deaths that I've dealt with, the people involved don't really have an online persona, so this technology is lost on me. That I guess I don't have that desire. I see grief for myself as kind of a band-aid that you kind of face the wound fully, and you rip it off and you just deal with it, and you deal with the feelings as they come. But I can understand how this would be a helpful tool for some to continue. Right? Also, speaking of death, I know that a lot of people have faced death in recent weeks, and people face that type of thing every day. And I will tell you, from somebody who's dealt with it personally, there is no time limit on grief at all. You'll hear a song, be reminded of a memory, a smell is usually a big one, and whatever emotion comes over you, just let it happen. And that's part of, for me at least, the band-aid process. You don't try to stifle it, you don't try to hide it, you don't try to stifle it or hide it or anything like that. You let it happen, and then eventually it'll lessen. It'll never fully go away, at least in my experience. I know that people feel differently about animals versus people's deaths. Generally, people feel very strongly about people's deaths versus animals. I am one of those. As animals, as far as go, is kind of an expectation that they will die before me. I'm not saying that it's any less sad, because it's kind of a void. How I feel about it is that you have this animal, this living creature that's always there that you can reach out and touch and is excited to see you, and then one day it's gone. And in a lot of ways, for me, I think I'm mourning that feeling rather than the animal in its own self. People have different experiences with that and see animals as family, and that they could never give them up, or, when you're faced with that decision, you kind of have to weigh it against your own family, your human family. And we dealt with that back in September or so. We adopted a very large dog. His name was Knight. He was presumed to be a Rhodesian Ridgeback. He was 5 years old, and he was probably about mid-thigh, height-wise for me. He had only been neutered a month before, so you're looking at an animal that has had its bits for 5 years of its life and then suddenly didn't. And I didn't take that into account. He was a very good dog. He was very personable, and he thought he was a lap dog despite his size. But he had very intense anxiety stuff that I couldn't address because of my hours. So and he did put his mouth on the cat when the cat got too close to his bowl, which made me nervous and the cat nervous, because he would hide in the bathroom while the dog was here and would not come out at all. We had a really bad storm one day, and we were all at work and Sophia at school, and he couldn't find any of us. Tried to get into my daughter's bedroom and ripped down the door frame. So things like that, it's evident that while a good dog, not a good dog for us, because I couldn't provide a peace of mind for him because I couldn't be here for the hours. I got a lot of flack for giving him back, and I will tell you that was probably the hardest decision. And I'm not one to give up, but I'm also one that I see, where it needs to be. He didn't need to be with us, and I wish the best for him, and that he really needed a place with wide open spaces. He needed somebody that was going to be there all the time, and we just couldn't. A little shortly after, probably about September or so, we opted to go back. We were going to try again, and we found these two Chihuahua mixes. Their original names were Rocco and Coco. Rocco for the boy, and they're very common names. So common, in fact, that we almost ended up with two pit mixes because they had the same name. And I went, no, we're not, no. Night size already kind of terrified Sophia. I don't need two almost that size. I look at these two. We renamed them Dobby and Luna. Dobby because he does walk on 2 feet at times, and he puts his paws down and kind of looks like the house elf. And Luna because she has a quirky walk. So quirky, in fact, that when we would take her out to the bathroom, she's such a little diva that if she has to pee, she doesn't just squat in one spot. She'll balance on her front feet, walk forward, and pee at the same time. She's on the go all the time. She can't stop. Whatever she's pursuing is way more important than having to stop and pee. But she also doesn't want to pee on her back legs, so she has to pick them up. Isn't that right? Has to pick them up. Right now, since we've gotten the kennel, excuse me, she kind of stays in there all day. It's got a little cover on it, so dogs are naturally den animals, so I'm not surprised that she stays in there all day. We call it Tent City. She's our little homeless woman, little bag lady. And she just sits there and, if you walk past her, she'll kind of grumbles at you. And she'll come out very sparingly and grab a morsel of food and kind of hoard it inside her den. And that's why we've moved the bowl outside of the kennel, so Dobby has fair game to get to the food as well. Otherwise, she'll eat all of it, or hoard all of it, and then grumble at him and us. So getting back to death, and especially of animals, I'm not saying that I won't be sad, but it's not something I'm necessarily going to hang on to in the same way that I would, say, my sister. That's me personally. That is no judgment if it really affects somebody. But, again, grief, you grieve how you want to, about who you want to, and however long that takes. I just view it very differently. in my lifetime. I have dealt with the death of friends, my sister, and a young nephew. He was only 4. He was around the same age as my daughter, and I think that's what made it affect so much, because I correlated that, if that was my daughter, and then you kind of put yourself in the shoes of the mother, and it really affected me for a really long time. But be that as it may, I will continue to support those who've lost people. It's part of the reason why, after doing mortician stuff, I'm getting into thanatology and maybe focus on grief counseling, because I've been uniquely equipped, or at least have the unique experience to deal with stuff like that. And why are you shaking? You're shaking so much. I'm excited. So on a more happier note, tomorrow, my husband and I will be celebrating our 10th anniversary, even though it's actually will be that Monday, but we both work Monday, so we're using Saturday as that. And we'll be going to medieval times. I can't remember the last time I've been to medieval times. Probably about as far back as middle school? High school? I don't know. I remember it was a lot of fun. I remember liking the food. Since then, they have closed it down and refurbished it. I thought it was going to be closed down for good, so I mourned its own loss, but evidently they reopened it in recent years, and we get a chance to go back. They have different packages, different celebration packages, one which announces your name to the crowd, and you get a cake and a piece of cake and stuff. It's like, 10 years is a big deal, so it was only the kind of reason why we were considering that one. But another one would allow you to sit kind of center ring, first and second row, and I've never sat there, so I was like, we're gonna do that. I mean, well, we know we've been together for 10 years. Which is kind of interesting when I tell people that, because depending on the age of the person I talk to, like, some people have surprised me, don't get me wrong. People who are my age or younger are like, wow, really? Mainly because then they realize just how long they've known me, how long we've been together, and how little has really changed maybe over the 10 years. Like, time goes by really quick. Older than us, older couples, people who have been married longer, they always point out that we're newlyweds, and it's like, okay, so when are we married in your eyes? When do we actually attain married status to you? I'm not talking with my hands as much this week because the dog has usurped my hands. Yeah, I was always kind of curious. It's like, can you just be happy for us? And, we've had comments in the past where, because my husband and I do spend a lot of time together, we've worked in the same place for a really long time as well, and we'd always eat lunch together, and people would point out, they're like, don't you guys ever get tired of each other? Clearly not. I mean, to each their own. People have their own... What's that? Cat coming in. Don't. Dobby. He's allowed to be here too. He's been here longer than you. Buck you up. Must want more water. Yeah, it's always kind of like, I find a lot of times that people just can't be happy for other people, and I'm inherently happy for other people. I am very ecstatic for those who found love and can hold on to it and grasp it and squeeze it like, love him and squeeze him and call him George. And you never let go of that feeling. And those who haven't found it yet, I support you in whatever your happiness brings, whether you end up finding someone or not. I'm not going to tell you that, you're destined, that the person's still out there, because I don't believe in destiny. I believe in opportunity. An opportunity may not have just presented itself. That's pretty much it for this vlog. I do have an interview on Monday for my previous job in classification. Hopefully that will go smoothly and I get back to that. And then it will augment my vlog schedule again. So until then, I will catch you guys next week. Bye.